Welcome to Great Talk and Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where we review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment official channel. Baby, let's go! As we continue on for the new Disney Plus series, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. This is the episode 8 review, and of course it is a spoiler, so if you have not seen this show, please pause this, give me a thumbs up to help this channel grow, and stay in the algorithm mode for this so I get more views. Go watch it, and then come back, and then definitely tell me what's your opinion of She-Hulk so far, and whatever episode you want to talk about. I would love to hear your feedback in the comments, so please do that for me. So this is a spoiler, you have been warned. Episode 8 went to Avengers mode with us, with an exciting action-packed and comedy that's definitely one of the formats they used to produce this show so far. It starts off with Leapfrog trying to stop two robbers who are stealing TVs from a store, and Leapfrog fails and embarrasses himself by getting beat up by the two robbers. He tries to escape with the jet boots as he flies away in a pose like Iron Man would do, but they break and he falls. He burns his legs because it catches on fire, and after that, Leapfrog does escape some way, somehow. Later on, you learn that while that's all going, Todd requested She-Hulk to come meet her at the restaurant, and he ends up talking about how he has gotten him a Wakanda, a weapon from Wakanda, which is the spear, and of course he got it off the black market, and they want it, the Wakanda want it back, and they're out to get him. And of course She-Hulk is not going to do that because he tried to seduce her, and she did not like that. So she definitely pushed the whole table on him and walked away. So later on in this episode, we learn that Leapfrog wants to sue Luke Jacobs, the guy who makes all the costumes for all the superheroes, including She-Hulk. And this She-Hulk did not want to do because this would cause a ripple between She-Hulk and Luke Jacobs, and they definitely get into it, and he even rips up her dress. But as they go to court, Luke Jacobs did not come empty-handed. Of course, the one and only Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, was his lawyer. The case was dismissed just for the fact that Leapfrog used fuel jet in his jet boots, and he was not supposed to because it was not instructed on the instruction, so the case was dismissed. Obviously this shows a battle between two lawyers, and Daredevil beat She-Hulk in court, and then we learn on they battle again just because Leapfrog kidnaps Luke Jacobs, and She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall in a more WandaVision way as she heads to the gala, and she comes to the gala for the lawyer award for lawyer of the year, and other women are there, and the intelligent leaks a revenge porn on She-Hulk. You learn that in this she definitely went Carrie mode, so they did a little nod where she went to Carrie mode and she destroys the TV. She gets really angry for obvious reasons, but then you get these police officers / SWAT type that have the same type of guns that they would use on her cousin Bruce Banner and on Miss Marvel, and that's how the show ends. Now, let's start off with our first topic, Daredevil. He's finally in the MCU. They finally show him in the She-Hulk series, since they've been teasing the man since teaser trailers, fruit trailers, and throughout the whole series so far. The man has finally show up, and he was Matt Murdock, obviously, in court while he was defending Luke Jacobs, who won the case just because Daredevil is a great lawyer as well. So here's some small details that we got to get into. So the Soviet Accords are done. They've been appealed. And the reason why is She-Hulk tried to use the strategy to identify all his Luke Jacobs' clients. And a lot of them are like Daredevil, who wear a mask, keep their identity a secret. And with the Savio Accords, if that was not appealed, then every Marvel character / Avengers would have been exposed. Everybody would know who such and such was if needed. But the question is when and how, and was Matt Murdock the one who got those Soviet Accords appealed? I don't know. I would say yeah. I think Marvel Studio would go that route, and I think they will definitely save that for Daredevil Reborn. But if it's not him, who else? There can be so many things. I even thought about that. Maybe Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, before he was before his final adventure in the Avengers Endgame, maybe during the blimp, the snap, depending depending if you're watching the Sony film of Spider-Man or Disney or Marvel Studios, but maybe Iron Man did one more thing he could do during the snap, and we don't know if any of the people who got this thing going on back in Civil War, where the superheroes answer to the government basically, and maybe some of the important ones got snapped. Maybe it changed the game. Maybe it was more easier to appeal, and maybe Tony Stark got that. That's a possibility. Or obviously, this is something that they could have used to have Daredevil. But why would Daredevil be the one to appeal? That's the question. And when did he do it is another question. So it's very interesting. I don't really have a lot of thought of how that would go, but I'm pretty sure that at some point Daredevil is already fully established. So I'm thinking he had to do this during the snap as well. Maybe he survived the snap, or they could be really funny about it and be like, yeah, he did 3 weeks or a month later before the incident between Leapfrog and Luke Jacobs, obviously. So it can go so many ways, but I think with that being said, I think there's a huge story connected to this, that they're going to use Daredevil a part of this, and you just don't know where this is going to go, because it's there's no Captain America as far as Steve Rogers, and most people know who Black Panther is as far as T'Challa goes, and who knows? Nothing about Doctor Strange mentioned it, nothing in the Thor Love and Thunder mentioned it, and nothing mentioned in the Black Widow film. So it's very interesting. So, or maybe Daredevil and Nick Fury have been communicating for a while too at this point, because we don't know why. They never really answer why he was in the West Side, but I think that Daredevil could have huge connections to Nick Fury. I think this is an idea of okay, he's going to be dealing with the Skrulls because he's the guy that could do it on the streets. he's their Batman at this point for Marvel. As far as my opinion, I the MCU did it right. Uh, I think that what they're doing with Daredevil was the right thing to do. Um, they obviously they used the Netflix theme song when he said, "I'm Daredevil," right? And to me, this is this they to me that's one of the things they did right is instead of people who are fans of that Netflix series, right? It still feels like it. It still feels like that it feels like it picks up from the Netflix series, but it doesn't. But I'm saying it feels like it. So it's really easy to get into, and it'd be more easy to be acceptable for like the Netflix Daredevil fans who enjoyed that series on Netflix, obviously, like including me, right? So I think it really eased into it. And I think that it can. I wouldn't question or bat an eye of like, okay, how does this connect to Daredevil season 1 or season 3 or whatever? I think it'd just be real easy to move forward with this new version. It's a new version of Daredevil. It's a reboot, but they definitely made sure it still felt like the Daredevil you watched from the Netflix series. So that's what I think they did that right. Uh, She-Hulk versus Daredevil. They had two different versions of a battle. One in court, and then obviously as your typical superhero battles. And it was very interesting to see them work together as well. But it just seems like it did. I like how they made it where Daredevil doesn't can still beat She-Hulk without having superhero powers. And the only reason why he lost is because she had to go. She clapped her hands, but that's basically her going uh like full force in a way. Like imagine if this was like in Dragon Ball terms, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball superhero. Uh, if you can't get that one person in the first form, you go up the next level, and that's what it kind of was for her. She had to like, okay, she wasn't trying to hurt him, but now he's getting a little too cocky, and now she's getting worried, so she had to like, okay, now I have to really get him, and bang, right? And that's all it was. And I thought it was really played easily. You know, they have some type of good chemistry, which it leads to the one night stand that they had after they saved Luke Jacobs, right? And he did his walk of shame. But it was just funny. That was funny to me, and I really enjoyed that. Uh, here's what I think. I think there's gonna be more, and I think they have a great. I think this is gonna be the love entrance because we don't really know what they're gonna do with Elektra as far as that, but I think that I think we're gonna get more She-Hulk and Daredevil at some point. So as far as that, I think what I think now is Daredevil leaves. He obviously is going back to the East Coast, and I don't think they're gonna touch because we're getting close to the end of this season. So I don't think they're gonna touch more upon Daredevil. I think they're gonna save a lot of this for like Daredevil Reborn. So I think that's all I can really explain is that. But another thing I just want to point out is with the Soviet thing being repealed. I think that Daredevil could show up in the Thunderbolts, or a Thunderbolt member could show up in the Daredevil Reborn series. So that's a possibility too. So with this, it's gonna be so amazing. I think it's gonna be awesome. But now we have him in the MCU, and obviously they're gonna do this character right. So Kevin Feige's got this. Let's go on to Todd and the Wakanda weapon. Now it's a spear. Obviously, he did a weird, awkward Wakanda for life salute. That was awkward but funny. What I think is this black market is still going. So I think this is I think Todd is not the threat for Wakanda, but I think the person who sold this to him is the bigger threat. And if you watch the latest Wakanda Forever trailer, you notice there seems to be a government SWAT team that's also in the mix between the battle between Wakanda and Namor. I already forgot, but I know they're changing it up. I know he's not going to represent Atlantis. I know it's going to be something else, and I apologize, but I will get my information better on that in the later future of it. But well, the point I'm trying to make is that I think there's a bigger thing going on. Like who in Wakanda is selling these weapons? How are they getting these items from there? And it has to be somebody within Wakanda because that's a difficult place to just sneak in if you don't know how to get in there. So I think it's a one of those small things they do, but it's gonna pay off later and make more sense once you watch like Wakanda Forever and you catch the little reference. So maybe Ty will have a reference in Wakanda Forever. Maybe She-Hulk. Who knows? But that's very interesting. I just think that this is leading up to somebody who's just trying to get the Avengers or trying to make the Avengers. This could be like a Norman Osborn. This could be Doctor Doom. I mean, it can be anybody at this point. Like it's up in the air at this point. The way they're going with this, and watching She-Hulk, you never know what type of episode you're gonna get. So, other than that, I think, like I said, I think Todd is trying to steal She-Hulk's blood. I think he could be the Madman, which is another Red Hulk. So I think that's gonna happen because if you go into the intelligence, what's their end game, and why did Josh do it? Why did Josh steal her information? Why is Todd so interested into her? And then there's the leader. Like, we know he's in Captain America 4, and we know he's heavily connected to this She-Hulk series. Now, obviously, it's to make more Hulks. So, but why would they put out a revenge porn on her and to get her angry like that? Well, I think the idea is if they can get her arrested, somebody within there's somebody who works for the intelligence that is a SWAT team that works for the government that can give them the access that they may not be able to access to, which could hint She-Hulk's blood. So we don't know what's going on, but I feel like Josh and Todd are on this, and I think the leader is involved. And I think these are the guys who are going to become Hulks at some point or try to be Hulks. Then we go on to the next topic, Red Hulk. So we know that William Hurt is no longer with us, and it's really up to Air of like, what do you do with Red Hulk now? From what they're doing with the Thunderbolts movie, there is no Red Hulk. They haven't recast, but there's rumors that it could be Harrison Ford. And the reason why I want to bring this up into this episode is obviously She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall and mentions a Red Hulk, right? So there's two different Hulks, but I really think that the Madman, which is, like I said, is another Hulk. I think it's either Josh or Todd, but I really want to go with Todd because that would make more sense. He seems so comical, so he can become a madman, like kind of crazy, or just angry too, right? And because I think as far as like Red Hulk, like Thunderbolts Ross, they're obviously going to save that for the Thunderbolts movie. They're obviously going to save that for that reason, even for a post-credit scene. But how do I feel about Harrison Ford? I think he could do it. I think he can pull it off. I mean, he's done well in Star Wars, Indiana Jones. I mean, the list goes on. I think he's a great all-around actor, and I think he can perform, Thunderbolt Ross, and I think he'd do it where I think he'll make William Hurt proud of him and pay homage to that man. So, really, I just think if they're going to do a Red Hulk, they do the Mad Red Hulk for She-Hulk. I really think that they're going to shave Thunderbolt Ross for, obviously, the movies. But, I can also see that happening in Captain America 4, The New World Order. I think that could possibly be an answer, and I think that this is how you can put like She-Hulk into the big screen if they choose to, because they haven't done it yet, but kind of for Wanda, but they haven't done, besides Wanda, because she don't count because she started in the movies, but they haven't done a Marvel character that obviously started off in the Disney Plus series and made it cross to the big screen. Now, there are already two official ones, but I'm talking about main star, which I'm talking about like Moon Knight, She-Hulk. I'm not talking about Ms. Marvel. Yeah, Miss Marvel. We know that officially, but we haven't seen it yet, is what I'm trying to say. So it's going to be very interesting how to. Well, like Ms. Marvel it would probably be an easier one, but for She-Hulk, it'd be interesting where to place her. Why would they place her here? And it has to just make sense because, like Ms. Marvel, she's going to be in the Marvels, but it's like, well, it's the name itself, but we don't know if they're going to do an Incredible Hulk movie because we don't know the details of like this. Universal Studios still owns the rights or whatever, but there's no plans of another solo Hulk movie. So it's like, if they don't do that, where do you play She-Hulk, So it's either Captain America 4 or it's going to be one of the Avengers movies. So I think that's what it's going to be like. So I definitely can't wait, but for me, like I said, I think if we're gonna get that Red Hulk, I'm going with the Madman on this. I think, and it's a great character. I think it's a great comic book read. You should definitely check that character out. It has some great stories. He's done great battles against a lot of the Avengers, even Spider-Man. So I'd check him out. It'd be worth the read, and it'd be worth exciting to see first time in a live action in the MCU. So I'm down for that. She-Hulk losing her stuff. So, like I said, in the end of the show, they did a little nod to the movie Carrie. They had red sirens. It was kind of like she got slimed on, but revenge porn, where she's sleeping with Josh for that one night stand, and they're trying to destroy her image and make it sound like she's nasty or whatever, right? I think this is if you remember in the first two episodes of She-Hulk, Bruce Banner says, you know, don't you want to learn from a guy who has experience? Because, you know, how do you don't, she thought she can control her anger, but look what happened. Something embarrassing was showed on the screen, and she was pissed. She was ready to go. She was going to go Incredible Hulk mode. And she ain't learned that because she thought she can handle it, but it's just a little parallel of she couldn't. So it was kind of like Bruce Banner's like, hey, I told you so. But it's really interesting. I think this is the reality of she's realizing, like, you know, she does have a target on her back. And, like, she obviously knew, but now it's really sinking in. And if you remember what Matt Murdock said, that she can be what the people, she can represent the people in court, but then she can be what the people need when the world's in danger, you know? And I think now that's really sinking in, because even though she's a great lawyer, she's living her life, she's just trying to be normal, but the world don't see her like that, and I think that really sinks in, and people are actually scared of her because she is a Hulk. So moving forward from that now is going to be really interesting with that. Do I think She-Hulk will be in the Daredevil Reborn? I would say yeah. I would say yeah. I think she'd make a cameo, and I don't know. I think it'll be the same way as what we got out of Daredevil in this episode. That many scenes, that many. It'd be one episode, but I think she would. Leapfrog. We definitely need more Leapfrog. I think he's a mid-level villain, but I definitely want to see more of him. I think he's a great guy, and he's just amazing. So, if you think about it, like, he can show up. You can have this guy show up in Spider-Man. You can show him in Daredevil and movies like Captain America or Secret Invasion, like Ant-Man. Like, you can use this guy so many times. Moon Knight, put him on the show again. Like, you can use so much with this guy, and I think people are going to be a real fan of him. Because if you enjoy like movies like The Boys or movies like Kick-Ass, you'll definitely like Leapfrog. Very mid, very, very clumsy, very cheesy, but I think he's a guy that people will grow and like and be a fan favorite. So I'm definitely giving this episode a 10. Amazing things, great Easter eggs, and made me get excited for the future of the MCU as always. So definitely a great episode. I can't wait for 8, 9, 10, or maybe it just stops at 9. I forget, but I cannot wait. So that's my review. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment Official Channel. Please subscribe, hit that notification button, because you'll always be up to date with all my latest content.